Filling your automatic transmission is also fraught with a little risk and frustration. You know, you get a can of transmission fluid, and I'm sure some of you have tried this. I know you don't want to admit it, but you say, well, I just didn't have a funnel handy, so I tried to, you know, pour it down into that transmission fill tube, and sure enough, you know what happened. It got all over the exhaust and all over the ground, and when you started the engine, it smelled terrible for, you know, the first 20 miles. So the trick to this is finding the right funnel. And what's really frustrating is you'll go out and you'll buy a funnel. You'll go to an auto parts store, and this is a transmission, you know, type funnel, and you'll go and you'll try to stick it in the tube, and it won't go in there. And don't try to use this either. You know, you think, oh, it only goes in about 1/8 of an inch. See that? Just barely goes in. You kind of shove it down in there. Sure enough, you'll come in here and you'll start pouring again, and you'll bump that, and over it'll go. And once again, you got oil all over the exhaust manifold, all over the ground, and a big mess to clean up. So spend a little time and find the right funnel. It doesn't need to be a huge funnel because you can't fill that much fluid anyway when you're adding to the transmission. So I've got this little funnel with a pointed tip, and it goes down in the fill tube and locks in solidly, just like that. So if I bump it, and then when I go to fill it, if the engine's running, it doesn't want to vent very well. And that's the other thing that's really frustrating. You may have to sit here as you're filling and hold this up just a little bit so it will vent. And then you can pour a little bit of fluid in at a time. Be careful, don't pour it too fast or it can come up over the top. So that's one way you can do it. And there's another little tool that I kind of devised here. It's just a piece of wire. It's something real simple. But you can use this if you're finding that your transmission doesn't want to vent to allow the fluid to run in there quickly. It's just take this piece of wire right here, bend it up like this, put it down in the fill tube, and then when you push the funnel in, it will lock, but it provides just a little gap right there that when you go ahead and pour the fluid in, you can pour it quite rapid. Look at that. See how fast it's going down into the transmission? And that really helps. Now you're thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to pour a bunch of fluid in there. Remember, those two little marks are not a quart. They're much less than a quart. You'll have to refer to your specific model and chassis to find out just how much fluid is needed to go from the low to the high mark. So you have to be a little careful. But we've all done it, and guess what happens? You put too much fluid in the transmission, and you know, you pull the dipstick out and you look there and it's like 1/2 inch over full. And you know, oh no, what am I going to do now? So in part 3, I want to show you a little trick that I've come up with to easily get rid of that particular problem. Just get that extra fluid out of there very quickly without a spill and without a mess.